Let's vibe, let's roll, let's get it. Whoa, shawty showing out, throwing on the dance floor. Fashion killer, huh? You don't give a fuck what a nigga gotta say or a bitch, what?
Hey you guys, it's Naimahrae. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the fam because we stay lit over here. You feel me? And if you're a returning viewer, hi, how are you guys doing on this lovely day? As you guys can tell by the title of this video, I am going to be telling you guys about what happened with a fire that happened in my apartment complex. It was not my apartment building. I want to clarify that early on. But I've been getting a lot of questions from a lot of people just wanting to know if I'm okay, like what happened, what started the fire and everything. And I don't have all the details, but I could tell you what I do know and what like the experience was like. I was gonna wait to tell the story time, but like I said, I've been getting a lot of questions and I feel like it'd just be simple to just go ahead and put a video out that'll answer everybody's questions. I want to give a trigger warning at the beginning of this video because it was kind of a traumatizing experience for me and it wasn't even my apartment that burned down. So if you have been through anything similar like this or like any situation like that, this video may not be for you. So I recommend you go ahead and click out. But for everybody else who wants to know what's going on, I'm just gonna tell you guys what happened and what I know and what I have heard. And I also will be leaving like a link in the pinned comments and in the description box of where you can donate or like more like on the story. I haven't really heard anybody say they have a GoFundMe or anything set up, but I'm gonna get into it later about what I did hear about donations. So hopefully there'll be a link down there. If not, if someone who was a part of this fire happen to see this video, happens to find this video, and you have a GoFundMe link or just someplace we could donate, like please let us know, leave it in the comments. And yeah, that was kind of a long intro. I'm not gonna ramble. Let's just go ahead and get into the video. On Monday, on the 18th, I don't know how many of my viewers actually live in Atlanta, but if you do live in Atlanta, it was all over the news. There was this really huge fire at an apartment complex, and that apartment complex was mine. What happened? From my point of view, I'm gonna start like by telling you guys kind of what me and Ty went through throughout the day, and then I'll get into like other details that we've heard and everything later. So what happened was probably about like 6:15-ish, 6:20-ish. I heard some yelling outside my apartment window, like because our window is like I heard it outside pretty much, and it kind of woke me up because I'm like kind of like a medium sleeper. Like I don't sleep heavy, I can hear everything in my sleep. So I heard it and I was like, oh, here we go again. Because I'm gonna be honest, sometimes there's some commotion outside and like it has gotten on my nerves, which we'll get into those story times like later on, probably when I move out, about all the other things that have happened in this apartment complex. But I just thought it was some crazy commotion or whatever. Didn't think much of it. I was like, oh my gosh, like why are they being so loud? Like what time is it? Like this is ridiculous. Then like as I like woke up more, I started hearing audibly this guy saying, fire, fire. And I was like, did he say fire? So you know, me being me, I'm like, okay, well he sounds distraught. This sounds important. Let me get up and look out the window. I get up and I look out the window and y'all like, so my window was diagonal from the building that it happened at. So like it looked closer than what it was, but initially like I looked through the blinds and it was huge. Like it was big. It was a big fire. Like, I mean, it was huge. And instantly I started panicking. I'm just gonna be honest. I started panicking. I had like anxiety. I was like shaking. And I just remember I like this part is kind of a blur in my head because I was panicking, but I was like functionally panicking, if that's even a thing. I was like, oh my gosh, Ty, like get up. And I don't even remember if I dialed 911, I don't know, but I ended up being on the phone with 911 and I was like, yes, there's a fire in my apartment complex. I stay at da-da-da-da and this and that, da-da-da. And the lady was like, okay, yeah, we actually have somebody being dispatched like out because somebody already called and blah, blah. I was like, okay, thank you so much. And like in the middle of all this, like Ty and I are like getting dressed, we're grabbing like all of our important stuff because we just don't know if we're gonna be able to come back to our apartment, which I'm gonna be honest, it was a very scary feeling because it's just like, oh my gosh, like everything that you work hard for it could be gone. So I just remember when I grabbed my bag with all my stuff in it and I was walking out of the closet because I went in the closet to grab my purse because I was like, well, something happens, I need to have my ID with me. So I grabbed my purse, and I remember when I was closing the closet door, I was just like, I pray to the good Lord above that I see everything in this closet again. Because genuinely, that was my thought process. I was like, this fire is huge. I don't know, like, what can happen. And from my window upstairs, it looked like it was closer than what it was, like I said. So we go down the stairs, we're like freaking out, and we get down there, and so it's kind of like a little crowd of people, and everybody's like just standing and looking and everything. And I remember the lady that was standing in front of me, she was like, yeah, I actually stay in the apartment complex like right below the one that's on fire. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. It was just her and her cat. That was it. Just her and her cat. That's it. That's all she had with her. And there was another lady, she was like, yeah, I kept hearing popping. I thought it was like rain or something, like hitting the window, because that's what it sounded like. It just kept popping. And we were like, oh my gosh. So like probably about like 5 or so minutes after we get down the stairs and we're outside, and we're all, at this point, we're all just watching the building burn because there's nothing we could do. A fire truck pulls up. Maybe like a couple of fire trucks pull up. There was a police officer here. He had to move his car because he was blocking the way like an idiot. And I'm like, why would you park right there in the first place if clearly the truck is going to need to get over there? But that's a different story for a different day. So the fire trucks pulled up, and they pulled up deep, y'all. It was so many fires. I've never seen that many fire trucks in my life. It was probably like 6. It was like going in a row, like they blocked the entrance, so nobody could get in or out. It was a bunch of fire trucks, which I don't really understand the purpose of the ones all the way in the back, because the fire's up here, and like but I was just letting them do their job, because at the same time, I've never been through a situation like this. So the fire trucks get here, and immediately they're trying to find a fire hydrant. They're trying to hook their hose up and everything, but it seemed like, and I feel like I'm not the only one that said this, but they ended up getting it out, so I'm not gonna like bash them, but it seemed like they were taking their time, you know? It just seemed like they weren't moving with as much urgency as I would have expected them to move with, being that the fire was so bad. But at this point, it was still kind of just in one little corner of the building. It didn't move, and I'll insert the clip that I do have of it burning just so you guys could see, but like, it didn't really move over too much yet, but it was bad, and you could see. And a lot of people were concerned because we have gas in our apartment complex. Like, we have like gas water heaters, and all I could think of was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want it to explode. Like, I'm scared, because my car was kind of like on the side with the apartment that was burning. It wasn't all the way over there, but it was like, this is the apartment, my car is probably like over here. So like, if something exploded, it would have hit my car. And I was just like, you know, like in those types of situations, you're just thinking about all your important things, and my car was important to me. So I was watching, I was like, I hope it doesn't explode. I hope nothing happens. So after a while of us standing down there, finally the firefighters are able to get everything going. They start spraying. They're having a hard time getting it out. They cannot get the fire out. They're really struggling, like they're spraying, but it's just not enough. And then like we could see kind of fire starting to appear on the backside of the building, which I will say, the backside of the building looks terrible. I didn't know what was happening. Like, we couldn't see what was happening, obviously, because we're all stuck in the complex. But they ended up having to get another fire truck to go on the outside of the complex to spray the back of the building, because it looks terrible. Like, if you drive by it now, I'm like, what happened? Like, I don't know what it looked like when it was burning. I don't have any clips or anything, but it was bad. But the fire itself was already just out of control. Like, you could see it from miles away. It made what's that thing called? ATL scoop. It made that, like, it was crazy. So Ty and I, we ended up going back up to our balcony to see like what was happening and everything, because like once we got downstairs, we realized that like the fire wasn't really going to reach our apartment unless like there was a huge gust of wind and it blew like left. Yeah, if it blew left, we would have been screwed, or if the tree would have caught on fire. Like, it wasn't traveling in our direction, it was traveling the other way. So we went back to our apartment, we were looking up from the balcony, and I just remember we heard this loud pop, and we got nervous, so we went right back downstairs because we thought something was like exploding. And I was like, that was probably the water heater or whatever the case may be, I don't know. But we ended up going back downstairs. At this point, there's people out there, they're like crying, there's people that are mad, there's people that are telling us like, yeah, you know, I live in that building, like I don't have anything and this and that. Like it was bad. And I do remember we ran into one guy and he was like, yeah, I was actually out walking my dog. If it wasn't for this guy, like, you know, I wouldn't have been out of my apartment building. And I also ran into the guy who was yelling fire, and I told him thank you. And he said, this is what he told us, because I was like, were you the one yelling fire? He was like, yeah, that was me. He was like, because I saw it. And he was like, you know, I just thought, like, I got to get everybody out. Like, I got to get everybody out. So I called 911. They put me on hold and said they had to transfer me to the fire department. And he was like, bro, what? Like, this is an emergency. So he said he started yelling fire, and he literally went through and knocked on everybody's apartment door. Like, literally. And the crazy thing is, he didn't even stay in that building. He stayed in my building. And so I was like, well, I appreciate you, because if it wasn't for you, like, I wouldn't have woken up. Like, you know, I wouldn't have heard it. I wouldn't have heard nothing, because, like, you know, some residents were handing out water. They were handing out snacks and everything, because mind you, the fire was at like 6 in the morning. At this point it's like 8 in the morning, so like it's been a couple hours. The fire is still burning. They can't get it out. It's starting to spread like across the building. It's really bad. I remember I got a text message from Georgia Power, and they're like, oh, your power is gonna be out until like 10. So I was just like, well, I mean, that's fine. Like, there's a fire still burning, so it's not like we have anywhere to go or anything. So I'm standing there and we're watching the fire and we're watching it, and you guys, like, needless to say, a lot of time passes. Okay, I'm just gonna say a lot of time passes. The fire ends up like pretty much destroying the whole like top floor. The firefighters were trying so hard, but they were having such a hard time getting it out. There were still little hot spots burning even when they did get a majority of it out, but that was like once they got it under control. It was still little hot spots burning here and there. It was just really bad. At some point, one of the firefighters used the hose to like spray like the back of the building, and I guess the pressure from the hose was so strong that it pushed it was just a little wall piece hanging, because the rest of it had burned down, but it pushed it and it fell, and we all like kind of gasped, because the person, like, there was a car right there and it literally almost fell on their car, like probably like this close to falling on their car. And I was just like, I couldn't imagine losing my house and something falling on my car all in the same morning. That's just a lot. At this point, it's been like 6 hours since the fire started. They're finally starting to get things under control. The neighborhood is still blocked. We still don't have power, so it's probably like 12 in the afternoon at this point. Mind you, it's the middle of summer in Georgia, so our apartment is starting to get hot. It's starting to get really hot in here. Probably we waited out a couple of hours, because I was like, oh, maybe we should just walk somewhere, maybe like, you know, like I could go here, I could go there. And so we're trying to wait it out, and eventually like around like 3 or 4, like after the fire is completely under control, like it's gone, like I guess they were really just trying to make sure everything was out, which was fine, but they had so many fire trucks, nobody could get in or out, and there was no power. So none of us in the complex had power, which means we can't cook. We can't do anything. Like, we can't do anything. Luckily, the leasing office did provide, like, pizza and Chick-fil-A, but it was just like, The Red Cross came out here to help the people who lost stuff in the fire. So that was good. And once our apartment reached, like, 80 degrees, which was around, like, 3, which they said the power was going to be on around 3, but it wasn't, I was like, yeah, we gotta go. So we ended up, my manager actually came and got us, and we ended up leaving, and we went to like sit somewhere just so like we could be in air and we could be in AC, because I have like little notifications on my phone if the power goes out. I had to set them up because power go out a little bit too often here for my liking, but that's besides the point. So when we get there, we're able to charge our phones, because like our phones were about to die. Like everybody was calling me, everybody was texting me, everybody wanted to know what's happening, this and that, da da da. Naimah, are you okay? Da da da. I saw it on the news, this and that, blah blah blah, which is fine. But at this point, my phone's at like 20%, and I have no way of charging it. Granted, I tried going down to my car and charging my phone, but it was taking way too long. It literally, like, we sat down there for probably like 10 minutes. I didn't want to turn the air on because I didn't want to burn too much gas. I also didn't want to kill my battery, but like, it just didn't charge. It charged like 5%. It didn't work. So once we get to where we're at, we charge our phones, you know, we take some AC and everything. And honestly, overall, the day was just really emotionally draining. It was just a lot. Like that night they had, I think they like set up a gate and stuff, and like had it like blocked off for obvious reasons. And like that same night, like the fire department came at 4 a.m, sirens blasting. I was so paranoid that I got up and I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? It's happening again. Like, I was just traumatized. So I'm just like, okay, no, there's nothing on fire. It's okay. I'm gonna go back to sleep. Recently, I don't really know exactly what's going on out there, but I could see what's happening from my apartment. I guess they're still trying to work on like getting the debris out, and I think they're also letting the people who, because like the whole top part of the apartment building is pretty much done for, like it's gone, it's destroyed. The middle part, I think they said just has like water damage, and as well as like the bottom floors. So I think they're letting those people like get their stuff like from out of there, or what they can salvage. So that's what it seems like. We talked to one of the guys who was actually like he lost his home. I remember when he came out, because he said like they let him go in and get his dog, but that was it. He was like, I don't even have my cell phone. I was like, oh. And like, I just really felt for him, because it's like, dang, like that's crazy. He was saying how he appreciates like us just stopping and like just seeing if he was okay. Financially, he's okay. Like, I guess he has friends and family helping him like get things together in order. And he was like, yeah, like the leasing office just put us in a hotel for 3 days. And he was like, this is the last day. So like, he was like, if you don't have renter's insurance, like you're screwed. Like, they pretty much want the insurance to take over after that. And he was like, there apparently people have been trying to go in and like take stuff and get stuff. And he was like, they're saying, this is what I heard, this is not confirmed. He said that the lady whose apartment initially caught on fire is saying that last month she put in a maintenance request for them to come fix some electrical wiring thing. And they supposedly came, fixed it, and then a month later this fire happened. So she's claiming negligence. I am not going to say anything about that, but I will say that I've had my fair share of experiences with the maintenance team here, and I kind of believe her. So, you know, that makes more sense. At first they were saying somebody had a cigarette, and the cigarette, they didn't put it out and it caught on fire. The electrical wiring versus cigarette, electrical wire sounds way more believable. But that's what he told us, and he was just saying like, at the time, they weren't letting them go in and get their stuff, but yesterday, like, we've been seeing them standing out there and, like, people going in, bringing stuff out. So I'm assuming that they're allowed to get their stuff now. The news was out there today, and I overheard something about donations, which is why I said, hopefully by the time this video goes up, I'll have, like, a little bit more information, and I could put it in the comments down below about donating and everything. But the news was out here today, and, yeah, that's pretty much everything that I know. That's pretty much all that happened. I am okay. Ty is okay. Our apartment is okay. Mentally, it was truly a traumatizing experience. Like, it's definitely one of those things that I really feel for the people. And like I said, like, if I could find anybody who's like has a GoFundMe or like some type of donation link, I will definitely put it in the comments down below, because we literally all just stood there outside, like, not only the people whose place was burning down, but other people just in the complex. We all stood out there and watched somebody else's home burn. And I just feel like that's such a hard thing to go through, because it's like, dang, you worked so hard for your stuff and it could literally just be gone like that. So I will put any donation links in the comments down below, like in the pinned comment, as well as in the description box if I can find any. I will also try and link like the news articles, or maybe at least like one, just so you guys can read more about it. Maybe it might have information I don't have. Like I said, this is just what I know. This is what my experience was. So yeah, I hope this answered everybody's questions who's been asking me like, oh, what happened, and if I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm just like, it was an experience, so, you know, a little shaken up about it, a little paranoid, like very paranoid, like, you know, but I'm okay. I'm good. I appreciate everybody who did take the time to check in on me. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media, which is always in the description box down below. And guys, just take a moment to just be grateful for what you have, even if it's not much, because like I said, things happen and things can change so quickly. And that was really an eye-opener for me, that I'm very humble and I'm very grateful that I still have my apartment. And yeah, like I said, donation links will be down below if I can find some. I really hope I can. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.
I want a chick that grind on a 9 to 5. Oh, she in them college books trying to get a rise. But tonight, I'm just trying to have a good time.